Hello, all you folks out there in Radio Land. Put on your dancing shoes. Gather round, 'cause I've got a treat for you. Coming to you live from our studios.
When you choose to become a full-time wanderer, you can never be too certain as to what you just signed up for. Because travel is like heroin. When you start mainlining it straight into your veins, you taste the world in its purest form. Straight chaos. My name is Allison Shockley, and I've been traveling the 50 states of America with my musician fiance, Danny Cottle. We've hitchhiked, we've walked long distances, we've slept in alleyways, and sacrificed many things along with our hygiene just to experience America, to study it for all that it is, to meet the beautifully unique faces of each state, and to explore the music of this country. It would take me hours to explain what it was like, what I've learned, how I've changed. Most of the footage was lost during our last pilgrimage. I think I lost it because maybe I felt lost myself. Recently, Danny and I spent 2 months in Florida. We went there to visit our family and friends and to avoid the cold of the winter. We visited Orlando, Cocoa Beach. We even checked out the Florida Keys. We found ourselves floundering there after a while, without a purpose, without a sense of direction. We felt like we were wasting time. We found that hitchhiking was very difficult in Florida because it's illegal. So we came up with the idea to walk the coast from Fort Lauderdale to Pensacola, our own mini pilgrimage. But nothing was miniature about it. I think it hurtled us into a world of confusion, and we began to feel as if we were lost in a world that we created for ourselves. We were no longer focusing on what we loved. We were focusing on survival. And we were only surviving because of the people we met on the road, through hitchhiking, through networking. I think Danny began to feel smothered by a life without music. A life that only allowed him to find a place to sleep at night and to tend to his fiance's crazy needs. To keep me happy, we walked about 100 miles before we got news from home. So Danny's mom's house is actually my mailing address, kind of like my P.O. box, I guess. And she opens all my mail for all of our mail for us and keeps us informed. We got notice of our hearing, which is in 8 days. So we now have to travel back to California and get there in time to collect all the proper paperwork and be on time for the hearing. We have several itineraries. The first being a hike to the Greyhound station. Then the Greyhound at 5 a.m. to Fort Lauderdale. A flight from Fort Lauderdale to San Diego. And then a drive from San Diego to Fresno. So here we go. So I'd like to share with all of you my feelings this morning. And in the last couple of days, I've just been overwhelmed with emotion. And I really just started to listen to it. And how I was feeling was that everything that has been happening, I'm soon to find out why. You know, all these roads that we've been going down, like the trailer and then the long hikes and everything. I've been slowly appreciating them, but deep down in my heart, I know that I haven't exactly figured out why they've happened, but I think they're all going to kind of tie into each other. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And yeah, I just sensed something really big happening. Well, anyway, we leave our hotel room this morning, we start walking on the bridge, see awesome jellyfish in the water, that's besides the point. And all of a sudden, this woman approaches us and says, "Are you travelers?" And I'm thinking, well, yeah, I guess, yeah. She's like, me too. She writes down her name, her number, $20. She's like, I'm gonna take you out to lunch. It's like, before you know it, it's just so weird how things happen. So we were on our way back to Cali, and that's when Linda swooped us up. We hung out with her all day before she dropped us off at the Greyhound. Linda really started to open us up about why we were traveling. And it wasn't until I heard Danny talking about his purpose that I realized I had my priorities wrong the whole time. These documentary videos should have been more about his music, not about the stupid shit I obsess about. Not about nothing. That's what these have been about. Nothing. I never once wondered why people don't watch our episodes, because I knew it had no true content. I've been blabbing on about nothing for months. So Linda dropped us off.
Bye!
And we tried to get some sleep before the bus came at 5 a.m., but it just was not happening. The area was sketchy, and we were afraid of the mosquitoes. So we sat up inside of the Loves.
Hold the way. Turn it around.
Ready?
We caught the Greyhound back to Fort Lauderdale, a city bus back to Danny's aunt's side of town, and we hiked the rest of the way back to her house. A day later, she dropped us off at the airport, and we were on our way back to Fresno. On the way back, Danny opened up to me. He requested we separate for a while. At least a month, but possibly a year. He wanted me to be with my sister in San Diego, and he wanted to focus on his music, of course. So after the court hearing in Fresno, I headed to my sister's, and he stayed in Fresno. Both of us trying to make ends meet, but separated. It's hard to look within yourself when you've spent 24/7 with someone. It's hard to get your mind sorted out when you have to answer your own questions. When there's no sounding board to pour your heart out to. If I had the chance to do it all over again, I would have focused less on the small stuff, less on myself, less on my minuscule girl problems. I would have focused more on his music, more on the people that were caring for us, more on my photography, and more on my crafts. I would have found a balance within the chaos and created more time for him to be with himself. Because you don't know what you have until it's gone. So here we are, trying to keep this tour afloat. And it's time to make a change. Magical thinking isn't about just wandering around. It's about what makes America unique. It's about what makes you and I unique. Please cross your fingers for us, America. We need your support now more than ever, because we can only hope that we find strength again to keep going, to keep thinking magically.